How to take pictures of soccer. What we will cover: planning, game time, gear and exposure, how, where to shoot from, shot plan, sample pictures and problems, weather, and tips. Planning, game time for soccer. At my school and sports district, the soccer schedule is the opposite of football, and that has confused many people. Boys' game times, varsity, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, not at night. It's an afternoon game. JV, 5:30 at night. Boys' freshmen, 7 o'clock at night. Girls' game times, varsity, 4:30 in the afternoon. JV, 6:15 at night. Gear and exposure. Day game. Camera, most any camera you have. Lens, depends where you are shooting from. On the field, 18 to 140, 18 to 400, or 70 to 300. From on top of the bleachers, 18 to 400, 100 to 400, or 150 to 600. Exposure, mode S or TV, shutter priority. 1/1600 of a second, ISO auto. Night game. Please see the video, how to take pictures at night games. Camera. You need a camera with a high ISO of 25,600 or more. Lens, 70 to 200, 2.8, or 70 to 204 if your stadium has enough light. Exposure, mode S or TV, which is shutter priority, 1/1000th of a second, ISO auto. Or mode M, manual, 1/1000th of a second, aperture wide open, ISO auto. Shutter speed no slower than 1/500th of a second. Other gear, monopod for the heavy lens. That 70 to 200, 2.8 is a heavy lens, and so is the 150 to 600. Exposure. Always test your exposure before the game and make any needed adjustments. As the sun sets and the light changes, test your exposure again. Adjust if needed. How? Where to shoot from? On the field and at the top of the bleachers. And please see the video, how to take pictures in the high school stadium. Lighting. In the afternoon, shoot with the sun to your back, not towards the sun. At night, near the goal, there is less light than in the center. Once the sun goes down, shooting from behind the goal line can put the faces in deep shadow. The benches. In soccer, the benches are on one side of the field as opposed to football where they are on both sides of the field. So, to avoid the players getting in the way of the camera, what I'll sometimes do is shoot from the opposite side of the field. So the benches are on the top of this picture in orange. What I will do is I'll shoot from the bottom side of this picture in the blue square. On the left, I have nobody in front of me. On the right, the only person in front of me is a sideline ref. So I will stay behind the sideline ref. Where to shoot from on the field? Afternoon. Offense going north as with the red arrow. So what I will do is when the game starts, positions 1A and 1C. This is at the end zone. The offense is headed towards you. You get their frontal view. And also position 1B. Again, you want to get the face view of the offense players. Now, for the defense, you go to the other side of the field, position 2A. Primarily shooting the goalie and the defensive players. Again, you want their faces. Offense south. So the blue arrow points to the south. Note on this particular slide, I don't have any shooting positions behind the end zone. The reason is if you're shooting from behind the end zone and the sun is coming from the direction as indicated by the sun arrow, you're going to be shooting into the sun. And that just messes up your pictures. So I do not shoot towards the sun. Shooting lines are in the blue lines towards the goal and towards the offense player. And on the other side, defense, you're shooting towards the goal and the defensive players. You're trying to not shoot into the sun. The most you're trying to do is sun at right angles to your direction of picture taking. Watch out for the sideline refs. You have to watch the individual referees to determine where they run and stay out of their way. Most are on the turf between the yellow line and the track, the red arrow in the picture. Some are in the first lane of the track. You want to keep at least one lane between the referee and you. If the ref is in lane 1, I will be no closer than in lane 3. Caution! The sideline ref is sometimes farther from the field than usual, as in this picture. This picture shows him out to lane 2 and sometimes goes into lane 3. So if he goes into lane 3, I'm out in lane 5. The other position, top of the bleachers. As indicated in this case with the red diamond. So from there you've got an elevated view of the field, similar to what the spectators can see, but you've got a different view than if you're on the field. From the top of the bleacher, this shot was taken with a 70 to 200 millimeter lens on an APS-C camera. Note the position they're on in the field. This is not the far side of the field or the far end of the field. Caution, my normal maximum range for the 70 to 200 millimeter lens is 50 yards. Most of the field is beyond 50 yards from the top of the bleachers. We'll cover this in a later video on shooting in the stadium. Make a shot plan. This is an example. Warm up. Shoot the goalie. This is the time when the goalie is not blocked by other players. And you can go onto the field to shoot the goalie at this time, although you need to watch out for the other people practicing. Shoot as many of the team as you can. Some of the players may not play, and this is your only chance to get pictures of them. Shoot the team presentation. Shoot the offense. Get shots into the net and from the side of the net. Again, get as many shots of as many players as you can. Don't just concentrate on the stars. Get the defense as well as the offense. Goalie. In some teams, they may change the goalie at the half. So if you don't get the goalie during the first half, you may not get any pictures of the goalie, of that goalie. Final score. And the sportsmanship handshake. Sample pictures. This is a team presentation. Because of the width of that line, I suggest, like in this picture, that you shoot from the side of the presentation that your team is on. In this case, my team is in the blue. So I'm shooting from that side of the presentation. Various offense pictures. Goal shot. Face and no net or back and net. Picture left. You have her face and the ball from the kick, but you don't have the net. Picture right, you got the ball and the net, but you can't see his face. These shots are a compromise. It is dependent on where you are versus where the player is. Picture left, she is further out than I am, so I can get her face, but I can't get this net. Picture right, player is closer to the net than I am, so I can't get his face. I only can get his back, but I can get the net in the picture. It just comes from soccer being a positional game. And how do you tell? In the case of the picture left, did she make the goal? Take a picture of the scoreboard. That picture on your scoreboard indicates to you that that particular kick made it into the net. And after the goal celebration. Other shots, such as getting the ball with the head. Timing on this is pretty tough. Shoot a lot of pictures to get just one. So don't worry about missing these shots. Eventually you will get them. This is a numbers game. Get the goalies. Bottom right picture is why I shoot during warm-up, because there are, as you can see in this picture, there are a lot of players around the goalie. So sometimes you got your shots of the goalie is blocked. Get the final score before they turn the scoreboard off. Some scorekeepers will shut down the scoreboard just a few seconds after the game ends. So as soon as you hear the final whistle, turn to the scoreboard and shoot the scoreboard. Problems to watch out for. Lighting. In the afternoon, shoot with the sun at your back, not towards the sun. Next, watch out for the afternoon glare from the sun off the visitors' bleachers on the east side of the field. As shown in the top picture on the right, the sun is reflecting off the bleachers and the camera's meter is going, whoa, too bright. And it darkened the picture so everybody on the field looks dark. At night, near the goal, there is less light than in the center. Once the sun goes down, shooting from behind the goal line can put the faces in deep shadow, as in picture bottom right, where you can see the dark shadow on their faces. Another problem to watch out for, color. First, the color of the opponent's uniform. Picture left. Look at that picture. Your eye is drawn immediately to the player in red, not to your player in white. When you are playing in a team that is wearing a bright color, red, orange, or any other bright color, you want to think about maybe you want to shoot a different game where you're playing an opponent in a darker color. Or rather than you being in white, maybe you should play a game where you're in color and they are in white. For example, in this particular year, home color was white, in which that year you would be going to an away game, so you're in color and that team in red would be in white. Next is the color of the ref shirt. Picture right. Look how that bright green shirt detracts your eye from the players in the background. This is why you shoot a lot of pictures, so you can edit out these pictures with the referee in the bright shirt. End zone shots. During the day on the left and at night on the right. This is why I abandoned, if you look at the right hand picture, you see the deep shadows on their face. That is why I abandoned this particular position when the sun goes down. Picture left, you can still see their faces clearly. You don't have that deep shadow. Weather. Soccer's played in the winter, and winter means rain. So you need to be prepared to be rained out. Very important. Do not take pictures in the rain. Most cameras and lenses are not weatherproof, and our cameras are not weatherproof. If the rain gets into the camera or lens, that could be an expensive repair if it can even be repaired. Which means you get rain into your camera, that's $2,000 or $3,000 down the drain. Is the pictures for those games worth that $2,000 or $3,000 equipment replacement? If the rain shelter is set up, shoot from under it. If not, just keep your camera in the bag. Put the camera bag into a large plastic bag. Don't trust that your camera bag is waterproof. Tip: take your pictures early in the season, like November, December, and whenever there is a good break in the weather. If the weather breaks and is good in January and February, you can always replace the November, December preseason game pictures. Tip number 1, words of wisdom. Light. If your team normally plays at night, and if the team plays a day game, shoot it. It is so much easier to shoot when you have plenty of sunlight. And if you have to travel to an away game to get to your day game, do it. The end. Please like and subscribe.